Here are all the strangest news articles of the week that you might have missed in the news. Today, we'll be covering schools getting access to historical records of UFO sightings, Elon Musk and the ISS, robot and AI advancements, and more. I'm going to share my screen here and let's get straight into it. Also, hello and welcome to all of my first-time viewers and listeners and everyone catching this live and also the replay. So, looking at this first one, the National UFO Historical Records Center is partnering with Rio Rancho Public Schools in New Mexico to provide students access to a vast collection of historical records of UFO sightings. And the aim is to promote, and I love this with all of my heart, to promote critical thinking, research skills, and understanding the atmospheric science among students. And the collection, curated by David Mahler, a lot of us know who he is, the executive director of the center, includes thousands of documents such as eyewitness reports, official military records, newspaper reports on UFO sightings in the area and across the United States as well. We are living in such exciting times for something like this, for a public school just to have very easily accessible information when it comes to UFO sightings. Now, you might think, oh my goodness, this is to push the alien agenda and to say aliens are here and they're real. Well, not entirely. According to David, he says that it's not to convince students about the existence of aliens, but rather to teach them how to use critical thinking to analyze reports for inconsistencies and alternative explanations. In school, we are not taught critical thinking. Public school, university, college, maybe even some private schools. It's sit down, shut up. You have four options. One of those is right. Do not step out of line. Do not ask any questions. And it's really exciting to see people jump out of that mold and to help future generations. So I'm very happy to see this, to be absolutely 100% candid with you. And I think those that are listening are like, oh my gosh, I want to go back into school so I can have access to this stuff. Luckily, you and I, we have the internet. We don't have to go to classes for this, but it is important to understand how to read these reports because sometimes they can be either super dry or maybe not always the easiest to understand and comprehend, especially if it's coming from like a FOIA report, right? It just takes a little bit of extra brain power to get the rhythm, to see the patterns of what you need to look for. And so the engagement with these students is expected to begin in 2025. So if you're living in New Mexico and you have kids going at Rio Rancho Public Schools, stars, okay? You get all of the star stickers. That is so exciting. Let me ask you this before we even move forward. What are your thoughts on this? Do you see more positives than negatives? Do you see some negatives? And if so, what could they be? I'd like to hear your input and your ideas on why you might think there might be some downfalls to this. Because, of course, we all want to see the positive sides, but we do also have to consider things that maybe we don't always want to face. So I'd like to hear that because for myself, I cannot think of any, to be fair, but I'd like to hear your input. And we have a bunch of more articles to cover, but if you're enjoying the show so far, hit that like button right down below. Getting into our next one, talking about Elon Musk and the International Space Station. First, I love this image. It's just really funny. So NASA has selected SpaceX to build a space tug vehicle that will pull the International Space Station back down towards Earth in the year 2030, marking the end of the iconic orbiting laboratory's nearly 25-year lifespan. So it launched in the year 2000, and for those that were aware of the launch of the International Space Station, what was going through your mind during that time frame? Did you watch it live? Were you excited to read it in the news? Did you think, oh, this is so lame, it's not going to get so far, being able to orbit for 25 plus years? When you heard this for the first time in the year 2000, what were you thinking? And what was the build up like? Because obviously, when we're dealing with the International Space Station and even NASA as well, they do like to build up their projects. I would say at least a year in advance so we all kind of have an idea of what's going on, right? I want to know because I was so excited to watch the James Webb Space Telescope launch. Man, I was flipping out. I stayed up as long as I could just to watch the launch. I think it was at what, 2 a.m. my time when it launched. I was like, I'm there. Not only do I have insomnia, but I'm going to be watching it anyway because that is just a pivotal moment in our human evolution, especially now knowing not only the beautiful images that the JWST has provided to the world, but also knowing that that particular telescope has changed the way we think about how old our universe is. It's now believed that because of the JWST, the universe is twice as old as we originally thought. Pivotal moment. This is so exciting. I think so, at least. And I think some of you might as well. So I want to hear what you thought when the International Space Station launched. Les says it was an upgrade to the MIR station. I know, that's true. And Ian says, shame they seem to be killing off Hubble. You know, you got to evolve with these new telescopes. There's more coming. The next one's going to be the Habitable Worlds Observatory, which will launch in the next few years, which is going to be interesting. But we got to get in with the new technology, right? And so, yes, Hubble has brought us so many beautiful images and information. And now it's time at some point to put it to rest. Getting back into Elon Musk's work, he is being paid by NASA $843 million or about 666 million pounds. So we're looking at a lot of dough here for him to build this tugging vehicle to bring the International Space Station back into Earth's orbit. Now, in the year 2030, first of all, it's going to have to go through a natural decay, meaning it's not like actually decaying and falling apart like a zombie, but it's more so that the gravitational pull from Earth is bringing it down slowly because just that speed of the International Space Station going around planet Earth is pretty difficult to pull down with a vehicle at that specific speed. So once the ISS begins to decay from its orbit, then the space tug vehicle will pull it down, I believe in the Pacific Ocean. I'm pretty sure. And with that, a lot of it will burn while the ISS is entering Earth's orbit. So we're not going to be able to keep a lot of it, but it will be eye-opening to see what parts might be able to be salvaged, if any, or if the remaining of the ISS will be placed in a museum for people to visit after it's gone through all of that burnout and then maybe just water issues as well. I'd still like to see it in the museum. Getting into our next one here. This one talking about robots actually, because this is creepy. What are we looking at here? We're looking at synthetic skin to place on robots to make them look more fleshy so that when they're smiling, you can tell that they're smiling. Because right now with Sophia and Amica, well, they do have this silicone skin. It's taking a little bit longer for them to create those facial expressions. But now the University of Tokyo in Japan has developed a new method to attach human skin tissue to robotic faces, bringing us one step closer to creating more lifelike humanoid robots. Blade Runner. That is where we're getting with this. Terminator. Whatever movie you want to throw out, that's where we're going. For these scientists and engineers and those that see a positive side to robotics in the sense of making them look as human as possible, Their argument is for them to be able to integrate into society in the sense of customer service, that you will be able to speak to them more openly about your issues that you're having with the company or who knows whatever else, more so than an actual robot. Or when you even attempt to call any company and they give you straight to a bot, oh, it infuriates me. You know what makes it even worse? When they don't even give you an option to talk to an actual person. They give you 50,000 options, and none of the options are speak to a representative. If you know what I'm talking about, ooh, you know the frustration because it is just awful. Well, here, this idea of allowing robots to look as human as possible has been going on for a few years, and we've been very lucky to be able to cover it on Strangest News of the Week when we're looking at regenerative skin, where you cut synthetic skin and it'll be able to grow back, to also see synthetic skin on robotic faces and how it molds to create facial expressions. I'm going to share a video here actually of how this synthetic skin is looking in, hold on 1 second, let me just pull this up because it's interesting to see how the robotics is able to make this collagen gel skin move. Here it is. It's pretty freaky. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, that YouTube link is in the description box below because I do highly recommend that you watch this video. And also, it's including cell grown tissue from human skin as the adhesive between the tissue and the robot. So last week we spoke about Final Spark, where this company in Sweden said, we're going to use brain tissue to create the most amazing computer. Human brain tissue. Now we're using human skin tissue to create this synthetic robotic skin. This is without hesitation. If we do not destroy ourselves, we will be full-blown cyborgs. It's going to be like Star Trek. And all of us are going to be Picard. Every single one of us. It's going to be pretty freaky stuff because we are seeing that happen unfold right in front of our eyes, where scientists are using human tissue, human cells, in order to progress robotics. Now they're also mentioning, oh, it's also going to help our evolution. It's going to make us live up to 1,000 years or so. It's going to cure all these illnesses, and it's going to just overall just elevate the human race. The way that things are going right now, I'm not sure. I am not sure about that, but I like the optimism here. I think it's valid, but we won't see anything until it actually begins to be implemented in human society. So I'm actually just gonna leave that there, because I'm just gonna leave that one there. I'm gonna put my screen back up for our next image, talking about AI and using it to punish prisoners. This one's a toughie. Okay, why is it difficult? Because there's morals and ethics involved in this, and people have very different ideas on how people in jail and in prison should be punished for their crimes. Well, there is this scientist that has conceptualized a futuristic prison system called Cognify, which aims to expedite a criminal's release from years or decades to mere minutes. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think a lot of people in jail will be like, I'm in it to win it. Let's go. Let's check it out. I want to be here for a few minutes versus a few decades. Heck yeah, I want my life back together, right? That's the mentality, but keep on listening because it's going to get darker as we go along. Because the design involves implanting synthetic memories of the offender's crime into their brain, but from the perspective of the victim. And this process would utilize a VR like device that displays AI generated footage of the crime, along with a brain implant that induces feelings of remorse or regret, ensuring a long term effect by making the memories permanent. So, even if you are a psychopath, which are people that just don't feel regret and remorse, they're going to be forced. They're going to be forced to feel those things with brain implants. There have been a handful of articles that have been covering this in the last few days. And this is the one that I had to read the comments on wherever I could find it because it's a catch 22. Like, they are going to be able to go back into society incredibly fast right after their crime. They will feel regret and remorse. But there were a lot of these people that were saying it's super unethical. This is a terrible idea. They're going to be traumatized for life. And I'm like, okay, I can get that. But if their crime was so terrible, they ruined someone else's life and caused trauma to them. So it's almost like an eye for an eye, right? Almost like that. And so you have these two camps, those that are for it, those that are 100% against it. And here, let's think about it with money. All right, tax dollars. I know we got to bring that conversation in. Taxes to pay for a prisoner, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. They are above the poverty rate with how much taxpayers pay. It's over 20 grand a year per person, per person. And that's for X amount of days, weeks, years, decades. This is only there for a few minutes. So money wise, financial wise, I can see governments implementing this. But ethically wise, it's not good. It's not good. But we are already living in the world of VR. People are using VR goggles to walk out in their day-to-day life. They're already living in a simulation. What's real and what's not? Can we apply that same mentality to these people? I wanna leave that one there. And Barry, thank you. Hi there. I'm so glad you're able to make the stream for the very first time. That is so exciting. Scott says, sounds more than fair. See, like I see where you're coming from. We just have these two camps, those that say yes and those that say no. Now, Rome says not only is it unethical, it's incredibly stupid to make any effort to reduce a sentence. Okay, that's an interesting thought. Yes, John. It sounds like something out of Total Recall. Yes, the original and the reboot. The reboot was really good. I actually really enjoyed that movie. So, sounds traumatizing, says John. It does. It does. So as I can tell from the live chat alone, we're having very mixed feelings about this, and I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Getting into something a little bit more positive, talking about the moon and China, because China's lunar probe Chang'e 6 successfully returned to Earth on June 28th, that was today, 2024, landing in the Inner Mongolia region with the first rock samples collected from the far side of the moon. Bum, bum, bum. Pretty cool stuff. The lander brought back up to 4.4 pounds, or about 2 kilograms, of rocky lunar regolith from the South Pole Basin, a crater believed to have been formed over 4 billion years ago. Because it just came back to Earth today, we have no further information, such as a deeper analysis on the composition of this rock. All we're given is that they were able to collect lunar regolith from the far side or the dark side of the moon. And I would like for their information to be made public on the things that they find. But when we're dealing with space advancements and space exploration, a lot of it doesn't even matter the country, a lot of it is not made public. Either way, I think it's pretty exciting. I think that we are moving very quickly forward with our space exploration and our understanding of space, because when it comes to the human species, we are a spacefaring species. We are going to be getting off this rock at some point. And it seems like it might be sooner than later, especially with the immense developments with SpaceX, with also NASA's developments. We're still seeing in front of our eyes the space race amongst a lot of different companies, both private and public, attempting to launch some of the best rockets to get people to the moon, to Mars, and who knows where else. If I was given the opportunity, I'd like to go to Europa. And I'm super excited for the Europa Clipper mission. So I'm such a fan, actually, that I even have a little patch of the Europa Clipper mission. And I'm ready to buy a denim jacket and be like, bam, right? That'd be super cool. I want to do that. I haven't done it yet because it's so darn hot for a denim jacket right now. This next one, this one was sent in to me. And it's an honorable mention because Build-A-Bear, probably heard of it, especially if you live in the United States. Build-A-Bear made a Mothman plushie, and we're seeing it on screen, and look how cute it is. It sold out in an hour. People were loving this. They said, I need to buy it immediately. You know what? I need to buy 5 of them. I almost considered buying one. Okay, I did. But I was several hours too late. And there are no more. And I bet on eBay in the next few days it'll be sold for $100, $300 or something like that. And I would never, ever pay something that much for a plushie. I'll just take a picture of it, print it out, and put it on my wall instead and say, my gosh, you're so adorable. We do that with boy bands. Why can't we do that with plushies? Okay? Yeah. But aside from that, it's just so cute. And I just do want to mention those that do send me links on social, like on DMs or in emails. I do really enjoy reading them. And if they're super good, I'll be like, oh, I'll definitely share it on Strangest News of the Week. And that's why this one right here today is an honorable mention. Out of all the articles that we covered today, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the live chat. Please let me know in the comments as well, because I really enjoy hearing which one you thought was like, oh my gosh, Cristina, I had not heard of this. This is so exciting. And before you head out, scan this QR code, take it to all of my social media links and my Patreon as well. That is the best way to support me and yourself in so many ways, because you get all the updates that no one else gets. You get access to merch that no one else has access to. I'm not even selling it. I'm giving it out to you. We have live events and so much more. So it's you support the channel, you help this channel, and you get a lot out of it. You can also check out my website at strangeparadigms.com, where I do write articles for all of the shows right here. And a little bit later today, I will be on Breaking the Silence. It's going to be a lot of fun to be able to speak to them. You don't want to miss it, as it will be live. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoy the strange and the mysterious, UFOs, the paranormal, and cryptids, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe, as I do 3 videos right here every single week, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the bonus content I post right here.